Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, and yourself?
All right. It's a blessing to have you here today.
It's great to be here.
All right. I'm glad you're feeling in good spirits. For those who don't know you, right, allow you to introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Azzura'e, but some people call me Azzy or some people call me Hazel. So it's whatever people's comfortable with.
Oh, they call you Hazel.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get the name Hazel from?
From my hazel eyes, I was young, around middle school, hanging around my cousins and friends, and a lot of people thought Azzura'e was too hard to say, so they just called me Hazel.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. How old are you, Hazel?
I'm 23 right now.
23?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Azzy, or should I call you Hazel?
People call me what they comfortable with, Azzy, most people.
All right. So Hazel, where are you from? Where were you born?
I'm from the Bronx, New York. I grew up on Bristol Street in the Bronx. Some people may know it, some people may not. But yeah, I've been in the Bronx all my life.
How was it growing up in the Bronx?
It was hectic. It was hectic with, a lot of certain shootings going on, or like.
I heard a lot about you, heard a lot about the story, and it's been all over about social media, and it's been all over a lot of places. So that's one of the main reasons why we have you here today. And I feel, it's better to hear it from the horse's mouth itself.
Right.
So, well, first things questions, explain to us what happened to.
Well, on August 24th, I shall say, I had came home from a friend's house, and my mom was on the phone with my dad talking about how they was about to go to a road trip to go get my grandmother from Maryland. So I'm like, oh, I want to go. Like, I love going on road trips with my mother and my father. So we about to leave, and when we all get in the car, something ended up going on, and my mom had ended up leaving and going back upstairs. So I stayed in the car with my father, and we went. So once we get there to Maryland, I was excited, seeing my grandmother. She made some food for us, made some coffee. We drank a little bit before we left. And then going back, my grandmother had to drive. Why? Because going there, my father got lost. So she just wanted to drive my father out of Baltimore. And once we got into New York, he was going to take over. Now, we ended up getting stuck in traffic. So while we stuck in traffic, a tractor trailer came behind us, and it hit us from the back. Now, when it hit us, my grandmother and my father ended up getting stuck in the car, and I got ejected from the back window. So I flew out the back window, and then I somehow got hooked onto his truck. So then he ended up dragging me for a half a mile. He ended up dragging me, and then I got ran over by another car. So when he found me, and they said I had 10% of life. My father and grandmother was stuck in the truck for about 2 hours, 3 hours before they got them out. And they flew me into a helicopter. They put me in a helicopter, flew me to Hackensack Medical Center. And then at first, they did all the surgeries on me. I was on life support. Then I ended up being they put me in an induced coma for a month. And then after that, I just really was like lost. And I felt lost because I remember going to my grandmother's house and everything, but during that time in my coma, it was like dreams and like seeing certain people, and it's like knowing certain things. Like, I remember I had a dream, well, I thought it was a dream, that like my uncle was calling me, and then I couldn't answer him. So I knew deep down something was wrong with me, but I didn't know what. Because I'm hearing him like, what? And I'm like trying to say something like, but I can't talk. So that's how I knew something was wrong with me. I just really didn't understand it. But once I woke up, it was a whole different world for me.
How old were you when you entered your accident?
I was 15 years old. Yes, I was 15 years old. I was a sophomore going into junior year of high school. I just finished staying at NYU for 5 days before all of this. Like, I was like, really active in school too. I was on the basketball team. I was in student government. I was always helping out with things in school. I even had a job. I was a cashier at McDonald's around that time too. So that, yeah.
Well, so you said you were in the car with your dad.
Yes.
What was their reports?
Well, after they did get my father, my grandmother out the car, my grandmother, she had a broken neck, and my father, he had broken ribs. But because I flew out the window, I ended up breaking my neck, breaking both of my jaws, breaking my left leg, and I broke my spine. So, and that is why I'm in the wheelchair for right now.
So, when you woke up, did you believe what happened? Did you believe you were in a car accident?
Oh, no. My mother, she told me, she was sitting right next to me. And I'm kind of talking to her, and I remember what I'm saying, but she was like, you daddy and grandma was in a car accident. And I'm like, no, we wasn't. And she's like, yes, she was. And I'm like, no, we wasn't. Like, but I knew it was real when, I don't know, for some reason I tried to get up. And I'm like, why can't I move? So I started screaming, like, Ma, I can't get up. And she's like, you need to get that nurse to help you? And I'm like, I instantly got mad. Like, why would I need a nurse help? Like, why do I need a nurse to help me get up? Not understanding everything. Because I was high off of the morphine they was giving me, of course. They had me drugged up in there. But I didn't really start understanding everything until I left the hospital and went into rehabilitation. So,
when you were in an accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the accident was taking place, what was the first thing that came to mind? Did you know you was hit by a truck? Do you remember those things happening?
No. Last thing I remember, me, my father, my grandmother, we went to the gas station to get gas. We got on the road, and I remember I was actually texting a friend. And then all I know is that they said, being that I flew out the window, once my head hit the window back there, I immediately got knocked out. So,
how did your other family members react?
Well, from what I heard from them, at first the hospital called my mom and woke her up. She ended up calling my aunt, then my sister, my brothers. They had to find out everything. They on their way down there, and at first people thinking like it's probably a joke, but it wasn't a joke, because when they got there, they lost it. They didn't even know it was me, because they said I was swollen everywhere. Like, my head was swollen, my whole body was swollen. The only way they was able to tell it was me was because of the tattoos I have.
Have you ever been in an accident before?
No. This was my first accident. So it was kind of shocking to me, and like, heartbreaking and sad. Like, man, I don't wish to get hit by a car, but my first accident had to be like that. Like, it just like really changed everything for me. So it was kind of rough in the beginning, especially.
How long were you in the hospital?
Well, I was in New Jersey Hackensack Medical Center from August 25th, 2012 to October 2nd. So I was in there for like, a month and a half or so, a month and a couple of days. And then I went into rehabilitation, and I was there for 7 months. Yeah, so. And there they had me doing a whole bunch of things. It's like, when I first got there, I was scared. Like, because I didn't know what to think. They put me in the room by myself, and it was new. And now I'm starting to get conscious, because now I'm not on any morphine. I'm not on any drugs that they gave me. So now I'm starting to really look and see things. And then just knowing I was in a car accident, when they put me on the ambulance to actually go to the rehabilitation center, I was scared. Because, in the ambulance, you look out towards the road. So I'm just looking, I'm like, oh no. Like,
after being in the car, you in the car.
It was just too much for me. But once I got there, I was scared. My mom was there. I had a little patient that was there. He actually came to my room, and he actually made me feel comfortable because he didn't know me, but he just came to me like, "What you here for?" And I'm like, "I was in a car accident." like he asked me like I was in jail. Mind you, he was 7 years old. And he just came press me, but that became my little buddy after a while being there. But like the process of being there, I had to get comfortable knowing everything, knowing everybody, because it's like I'm just switching from hospital to hospital as it seems now. So I gotta get used to these doctors and nurses, but they help me. They help me a lot.
Did you kind of like play the blame game when this happened? Like, did you blame your driver, or did you blame like the trucker? Like, do you blame anything for anybody for this?
At first, I didn't blame nobody. I really wasn't all aware of everything until I got out the hospital completely. About like updates on the driver. Well, I believe my grandmother, she had updates on him. But the first time I grew hate was when I got out the hospital and I had to go to the dentist, because when it happened, my front tooth got chipped, and then my other tooth was loose. And like I said, I had both of my drills broke, so I had wires in my mouth. So when I went to the dentist, at first they're like, oh, it's best if I go back to the people who put them in because they don't really know how they did it or something. I'm just like, that's all the way in New Jersey. I'm in the Bronx. Like, come on. But they ended up doing it, and the first time they put like the needle to my gum, I just started crying and screaming, and that's the first time I yelled, like, I hate him. I hate that driver. And that was really the first time I grew hate for anybody.
What's the most thing that changed about this accident in your life? Of course you're in a wheelchair, but what's the most dramatic change that you can say that you have to deal with?
Honestly, the fact I can't do anything fast enough. I was a person who always, when I wanted to move, I'm gonna move. Like, if I want to do this, I'm gonna do that. If I want to pick this up, clean this, move this around, I'll do it. Now it's like with certain things I have to depend on people, and I hate that more than anything. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to do something how I want it done or as fast as I want it done. So that became something I had to adjust with, especially in the beginning, because I couldn't do a lot in the beginning. I wasn't able to transfer into a wheelchair by myself. They had to use something called a Hoyer lift, where they put like a mat under you, and it's a machine that has hoops on the mat. You put them on and it lifts you up and puts you in the wheelchair, or lifts you up and puts you in bed. That's what I had to use first. I didn't know how to do anything. So, having to wait on people to finish doing what they're doing just so I could get what I need done, that was a big problem for me.
So how long were you on that machine for?
The machine, I would say, I was in the hospital for 7 months, so I would say maybe about 4 or 5 months. Yeah. Or maybe 3-4 months. Because once I got into therapy, I wanted to get up while I was still there. Like, I wanted to get out this chair. So when I was in therapy, whatever they told me to do, I made sure I did it. I made sure I followed all the safety precautions that they had for me. And I ended up learning how to do stuff more and more by myself.
I remember you mentioned you were on the high school team, basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever miss basketball?
Oh, yes, I do. A lot. Like, when I was in school, I was a point guard on my high school team. And I was a point guard high school and middle school. And, basketball became a part of me only because I really grew up with it. My brother, Boo Boo, he plays basketball. He's been playing basketball since I was little. He got a whole bunch of trophies in the house. So, like, I always went with him to the park to see him play. And basketball was just on me already. So, it's like once I got there to high school and I actually met the coach, and she's telling me, like, Hazel, because in high school, everybody called me Hazel. She's like, Hazel, you need to get on this team. You need to be on this team. So, I'm like, all right, I did the tryouts and I made it. And then she always would call me her star point guard. And I had a lot of fun on the basketball team with the coach or the players. Going to our first playoff game and losing, I'm happy I had that experience because I cried, but because I wanted to keep playing for the season. But it was okay. At least we got it there. So, But I miss basketball a lot.
How did you feel to know that your story was being reached by hundreds of millions of people, seeing it all over the social media platforms and news articles and stuff? How did that make you feel?
It actually, it shocked me, but I wanted it to get out because, I feel like if I done been through all of this and I can still make a way, anybody else can, and seeing certain people, they share my posts or they write me like, oh my God, you're so strong. Like, I don't know how you do it every day. Like, you always have a smile on your face and, you let nothing stop you. And that's what I like about you. That, honestly, I love hearing stuff like that because it shows me I'm doing something right. So, as long as I can keep helping others, hey, I'm going to keep going.
What message could you spread to others, people with similar experiences? What would you spread to them?
Don't be nobody but you. I know you have to adjust to this chair, but don't let the wheelchair make you. Because at the end of the day, you can't stop yourself from reaching a certain blessing because of this. I had a problem with that before. I don't think I could do this because of the wheelchair. I don't think I could do that because of the wheelchair. Or I can't go there. And it's like, why not? I done did everything else. I done graduated high school, graduated college, got a first apartment, was driving. Yes, I learned how to drive in this wheelchair. So, nothing stops you but you at the end of the day. And that's my message. Nothing's going to stop you but you. And don't let that happen because you could definitely be blocking a blessing in your way.
That's good to hear. So life after your accident, and I checked on your social media now, and I'm seeing that you're into modeling.
Yes.
How's modeling for you?
Well, right now it's going better than what I expected. I decided to come out with my vlog Instagram at the natural life people _ at the life so people can follow. And at first I was scared, I was nervous because I'm I'm not used to just talking on camera. I'm not used to just having people just look at me. You know what it was for me? I was looking for attention and support from the wrong people. Everybody that was close to me is who I wanted the support from, and being that I wasn't getting it from them, I felt, all right, it's not worth it. But knowing that it's other people that actually look at my stuff and write me on some, I get happy every time I see you post. Every time I see you write something or post a picture, it makes my day. Guys and girls, so that's definitely. I ended up getting a ring light, doing my own pictures for right now. And then I did the photo shoot in Valentine's Day. That was a major success actually because I didn't expect to get that much people to really share my pictures and, talk about it. And people calling me like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. And it was just so nice. And then now I have lovely friends who recommended me to somebody. So now I actually just got another hit up about doing a photo shoot in August. So I'm getting my name out there. I'm trying to get my name out there more. So I'm happy about it. It's going the way I want it right now, at a good pace. Hopefully something bigger comes soon, but I'll be patient.
Do you also have other friends that are in wheelchair or disabled?
Actually, I have one friend I ended up making in the hospital. I have two friends. One is in a wheelchair, one isn't. And then I actually, one of my cousins, the mother of their child, she's actually disabled, and I like to hang around her because, like, she's not in the wheelchair, but she takes pride in her disability, and that's something I admire about her because that's how I feel about myself. Like all right. You already gonna know people's gonna be out saying little things or whatever, but so what? If you can walk past it, ignore it. Because at the end of the day, you still getting what you need done, and they're not. So
Okay, and it's the last question I'm going to ask you.
okay.
Do you enjoy life in a wheelchair?
As of right now, I love the challenges that come my way with it. I love the different obstacles that come in my way, just so I can show anybody that I can get through that obstacle with or without this wheelchair. So that's my biggest thing.
Okay. That's good to hear. Very inspiration. Very real inspiring.
Thank you.
I want to say that's good, and I want to wrap it up. But tell everyone where they can follow you at and how to contact you.
Okay, you can follow me on Facebook, Azzura'e Wilson. You can follow me on Instagram at the Natural Life LYFE _. And that's where you can find me at. Write me. There's a lot of people who I know want to contact me about personal things. I had a situation like that before, where a person was 10,000 miles away and they still wrote me. And when they see me in person, they just express themselves to me and just been in. It's like, I'm here for emotional support too. So definitely you could reach out to me if I'm needed by anyone.